Alright guys, we was actually making some barrels for our garden, for our greenhouse, and I figured we'd show how I build self-wicking garden barrels. It's pretty self-explanatory, but normally you get the barrels with the ribs on it. This one doesn't have ribs, it's slick-sided. That's all they have in stock right now. But they all work the same, you just have to have a way to mark it, to cut it. I'll go over what I have to make it with. 55-gallon barrel, food grade of course. Okay, and then I got a 4-inch coupling and a section of 4-inch pipe. It's just old pipe we had laying around that we've been using. This is the 2-inch fitting that screws into one of the bungs here, and a little piece of knowledge here. A 2x2 works perfect to open these. Fits perfect in there. But anyway, the thread, this threads down in here. It's a 2-inch for the 2-inch pipe. You'll see why in a minute. Then got a section of 2-inch pipe that I had laying around. So I got a cap to go on the end of it with a screw on it. This is not necessary. All this I'll explain to you as I put it together. This will go on top of the 2-inch pipe. That way you can close it off if you need to. Or really don't need to. I just got it because I think it looks cool on there. And I also got this is what they call a pipe sock. It goes over like a corrugated plastic with the slices in it for drainage and stuff. It's the sock you put on that. I bought one of those. It's 4 inches by 10 feet long, so you can make several with one pack. Alright, since these are clear barrels, we paint them. We paint ours green. The reason I paint them is because of the sun. I don't want the sun cooking it. They haven't went bad yet. I mean, we've got some that's been outside for what, 6, 7, 8 years, and they still haven't been like brittle or anything. They're still perfectly fine. All right, put it back in there. But this 2x2 I cut is exactly 13 inches because I want a 12-inch reservoir down at the bottom. Have to explain that, but also it's got like an inch right here that's pretty much nothing. So I just wanted to measure 13 inches to right there. So, and I got my marker I have to mark it with. But before I do that, before I cut the barrel, I'm going to take and I'm going to mark the top of the barrel right here, the 4-inch hole for a section of this pipe to go into. So basically what I got to do, this may be too tall. Yeah, it is. I can do it with this. Center this coupling the best you can on the barrel. Then take your marker and mark the inside of the coupling for a 4-inch hole. I do not have a 4.5-inch hole saw. That's exactly what it would take. We got a 4 and a 5. I don't have a 4.5. So what I do is I mark it. Then I got a jigsaw and my drill. I'm just going to drill a pilot hole just to start my saw. Like that. I'm going to take my jigsaw and I'm going to cut this 4-inch hole out. Take all this back out right here. Off, it falls in there because we're going to cut it anyway. So basically what you have now is a 4-inch hole in the top of your barrel. And that'd be a good time to see if this is going to fit. Kind of hard to support. Yeah, it goes right in there. Perfect size. Alright. Now the best part, I do that because it's easier, instead of bending over to do it, it's easier to get it when it's up top like that. Now what I want to do, just take this 13-inch 2x2 I told you I made, and I want to mark the barrel. I'm basically going to well, it'd be kind of hard to do. But this is how I'm going to do it. Then I'll mark it off camera and wrestle it around the porch. But what I'll do is I'll mark it right there. And I'll just go all the way around it with my marker. And then I'll cut it on that marker. Let me get it cut and I'll be right back. Alright. As you can see, I use my stick, like I said, like this. Put my marker in, up just went around the barrel, all the way around it. And that's my cut line. That's where I'm going to cut it all the way around. So what I'll do, I'll lay it on the side like this. Like I said, if you get the blue barrels or whatever, it's got the ribs on it, you can actually see, just cut it one of the ribs. It's a lot easier. You don't got to mark it. So what I'll do is I'll take my saw and I'll basically do this. All the way around till it's cut in two. Let me finish cutting it and I'll be right back. Alright. Here's what we're doing. We took the saw and I went around and cut it. It's not really half of it. But as you can see, it'll go down. I'll show you exactly what that's all about. But what it is, you're going to create a 15 gallon, I think it's 15, 18 gallons of a reservoir, a water reservoir down here at the bottom. And this will actually go inside and you push it all the way down. And I'll show you how to do that. But the easiest way to do this is to cut slits up through here to kind of mash it in. It doesn't matter because it's still going to hold water at the bottom. So I'll make a couple, show you what I'm talking about, and then I'll cut the rest of it off camera. But what I'll do is I'll take my saw and I'll cut straight up to about that rib right there. Just like that. That's all I'm doing. But I'm going to make several cuts about every 6-8 inches all the way around the barrel. Alright, I'll cut it and then I'll be right back. Alright. Like I said, I went around about every 6-8 inches and I just cut strips in it like that, all the way around. And the point of that being is so you can get inside the barrel. It doesn't have to hold anything. The top part is what really counts. But you're going to have to trim a little bit off this lip that's around through here to get it to fit in there. You're going to have to trim a lot, just a little bit. So basically what I normally do on something like that is do it before I make the slices in it, because it's easier to hold. Just kind of prop it on there like that and just go just like that, all the way around it, and I'll trim just a little bit of that lip off, so it'll fit in the barrel. But anyway, I'll finish trimming that, and then I'll show you in just a second. Alright, as you can see, I cut just a little bit of that lip around the top of it off. That's just so it can fit in the barrel. With the whole lip on there, it's kind of hard to get it in there. You can, but it's a nightmare. So, that's, like I said, just so you can get it in there. I forgot to take the top out. But that's, none of this has to be precise because it's just a garden barrel. It's fits in there now. See how I cut those and go right in there. So what you want to do is you want to put this in there. Nope, put it all in there. Just like that. All right, and then you want to push it all the way to the bottom. Alright, it comes up to right there. Alright, if I can show you. Alright, you'll see it's kind of heavy, but let's see. My assistant will come over here and help me hold it up. Okay, hold it here. See, this right here is where you put your potting soil, and this down here is a water reservoir. This right here will hold water. That's probably 15 gallons of water down there. So, alright, thank you. Alright, so now what I want to do is kind of measure this 4-inch pipe, how much I need to go down in here. Then I'll mark it right at the bottom. I won't cut it there because I don't need quite that much. I'll show you why. But I marked it here. And this is just to the top of the piece we just put in, to the top, from the bottom to the top. So that's how much water reservoir you have. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna probably cut a little less than that, maybe an inch less right there, because we don't want it all the way on the bottom, and I'll show you why. Move this 2-inch pipe. All right. Another disclaimer: don't cut the way that I do, because it's probably pretty dangerous, as I found out before. So, anyway, let me cut this right quick. I have found that a chop saw makes the best cuts, the nicest cuts, if you got a good blade on there, that is. It don't matter if this thing's dirty or not, because it's fixing to have all kinds of dirt in it. But what this does is it goes down in the hole like that, and that's your wick. We're making a wick like a kerosene heater wick. That's basically what we're making with this. All right, this is kind of the important part. This is so. What I'm going to do is I need to glue the fitting on. This is just a coupling, is all it is. You can cut it in half, or you can use the whole thing. It doesn't matter. I think I'll use the whole thing, just because I don't want to cut it on that saw and lose a finger. But on the wick itself that we're making, what you need to do is, right at the bottom, you need to cut some marks in it like this. Maybe 3 or 4. Like that. Like that. Cut those out all the way around. And then what you want to do is drill a bunch of holes in it. You know, like maybe 1 here and 2 here, 1 here. It doesn't matter what size drill bit you use. It really don't. I have a pretty good, I don't even know what size it is in my drill bit, but anyway, I'll cut one of these and I'll cut the rest of them off camera, and I'll show you what it is. Just like that. All the way around. And that's just so the water, it'll have more surface area for the water to get a hold of the wick. It's just like I said, a kerosene heater. Alright, let me cut the rest of these and I'll be right back. Alright, right there it is. You can see, I've done it. Just all the way around. That's all I did. Alright, now what I'm going to do, I'll drill 1 or 2 and then I'll do the rest off camera, but what I'm going to do is drill holes in it I was telling you about. So what you want to do is just put a hole in it. There's 1. Alright, just like that. Drilling holes all around it. That's what I'm doing. I'll be right back. Alright. Just like I said, what I did, I took my drill bit and I went around it and I just drilled a bunch of holes in it. That's all I done. And then I cut these out. And what that is, I'm trying to create more ways for the water to get into the wick. It's actually pretty cool the way these things work, and they work really well. If you keep them outside, like in the yard or something. We've only put water in ours 1 time, and that's when I first made them. And the other ones we have. And I've never added water to them since, because the rain continuously keeps them full. Like I said, it's pretty amazing the way they work. Like I think we put water in them just that 1 time, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just when we made them. All right. And you'll also put a weep hole here too with the drill bit. I'll show you that in a second. But right now, like I said, the most important part is this wick. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use my glue again if I can get it open. You don't have to do this if you don't want. This is the way I do it. These videos are not really to show you how to do something, it's just showing you how we do something. So maybe it'll help somebody else. Alright, then I'll just push the fitting on top of it. There it is. Just like any water fitting. Or drain fitting, I'm sorry. And that's what it looks like right there. And this will sit in that hole I was telling you about that we cut earlier. And that put it probably that far from the bottom, which is perfect. It'll just set right in there, just like that. Alright. We'll let that dry a minute and then we'll make the fill tube right quick. Let me get the stuff out and I'll be right back. Okay, what I'm going to do now, just like I was showing you earlier, this screws into the top one of the bung holes. What I want to do is I want to put a fill tube in it, in case you like keep it on the porch and you have to add water to it or something like that. And instead of just drenching your plants, you can fill this thing without wetting the plant. And what it does, the moisture comes in from the bottom. It wicks it up. It wicks it up and keeps the, I guess the medium or whatever you want to call it, the soil in there. It keeps it just nice and damp, not oversaturated or nothing like that. And it's a pretty awesome little invention. I didn't invent it. I've seen somebody else do it, and I'm just kind of copying them, but this is how I do it, so I was wanting to show what really works well for us. What I want to do is I cut these 12 inches. That'll put it just a little bit above the top of the barrel, just a little bit of top. So what I want to do is get my marker and my tape measure, is I'm going to mark this thing 12 inches. Alright, then I'm going to cut the pipe. And just a section of old used pipe, you can make 3 or 4 of these, just like that section of 4-inch pipe I had. That's leftover from the last ones I was making, and I've still got enough of that section of pipe right here. This will probably still make 3 more, at least. It'll probably still make 3 more of these things. And this 4-inch pipe is pretty expensive, the PVC. Well, everything's expensive right now. So what I want to do is the fitting I showed you that screws into the top of the tote where the bung was, is I'm going to glue it onto the pipe. And one more time, you do not have to glue them. They stay actually pretty good the way they are. But I like gluing everything to make sure it's staying. Okay. Then give it a little half twist. And it's already locked on. Okay, now this will screw right into the top of the barrel. Like that. Just like that. But before I do that, here's something else that you don't have to do. It's just, I do it because it's like $1 or $2 extra to do this. It's the fitting that goes on top that you can actually, it has a fitting that screws in. You screw it on, and that way it closes it off. I like putting those on there. It's just something I do. So let me glue that on right quick. Push it on. Give it a little twist. There it is. Alright, there's that. Close this glue up. And then, like I said, what we'll do is that screws right into there. And then your lid screws right onto it. It'll be more sturdy once I screw it all the way down and put dirt, the medium in there, the dirt, the topsoil, which I'll talk about here in a minute. But anyway, it'll be like that. And there's your fill tube. That's how you put the 15 gallons of water in it. These are good for patios, porches, anybody that ain't got enough room to put a garden. These things right here work really well. We grow tomatoes in them every year. You grow onions in them, lettuce. You can grow cucumbers in them. You just have to make it a little trellis.
Garlic.
Garlic. Yeah, we have a couple now with garlic in it. And I mean, you just pretty much set it and forget it. You don't have to water it or nothing. Ours is outside in the yard. Same place this is going to be. We're adding to it because we're going to build a greenhouse. and I want these inside the greenhouse too. So I'm gonna build the planter beds out of 55 gallons laid sideways, and probably have a bunch of those, the raised beds out of those. I just like using the 55 gallon barrels. Okay, we're done with that. So let's take this back out for now, because I want to drill the weep hole. Alright, with the drill, same drill bit, whatever you want. Just right below, you'll feel in there, there's a lip where that top piece is. My top comes up to right there. So what I want to do is drop down a little bit, probably about right there, and drill a hole through both. Okay, that's all you do, that's it. Alright, now, once this thing fills up with water, it'll come that hole and leak out. If you, like I said, if you have it on a porch or anything like that, you could actually plumb some fittings into it where it don't just run out on your porch. You can actually like run it away from your porch if you want. But I don't, because we keep them outside. It just fills up and gets there and runs out. Alright. This thing here should be about ready now. Alright. Now, what I want to do now is show you how to do the wick. The most important part of this thing is called the wick. That's why it's called a wicking barrel. So, let me get everything ready, and I'll be right back. Alright, let me move the barrel out of the way here. Alright, like I said, this is what they call a pipe sock. Right here. It's for the plastic corrugated pipe with little slices in it for drainage and stuff like that. This works perfect for this. It lets the water in and keeps the material, lets the water in, and it keeps the material from going into the water. Alright, so that being said, what I need to do is I really need to clean up that piece of plastic too. But what I need to do is roll it out long enough to go just a little bit below, and probably a little bit enough to roll over the top. So I'm going to do that much right there. So I got me a pair of scissors. I was going to cut it off right here. Well, I said it was. And what you want to do is you want to take the bottom end and you want to put some couple zip ties on it. Let me grab my zip ties and I'll be right back. Alright guys, instead of zip tying that bottom, I'd tie a knot in it. I don't have any small zip ties, but this works just fine. I've done it this way too. Just tie it, just put one knot in it, pull it tight. And what you've done is you created a sock. That's basically all you've done. Just like that. And what you want to do is you want to put it down in our wick that we made. Then you want to fold it over the top. Let's see, let me pop it up here. Just fold it right over the top. Bring it down past that lip right there on that fitting. Best you can. That's it, hangs out the bottom. So we still got plenty to bring up. We can bring it down pretty far like that. You take up all the slack you want. Because when you fill this thing with the topsoil, it's gonna get way out there. So you're gonna bring it down a little bit. About like that. Just about like that right there. Alright. Now, what I need to do is find my big zip ties. These are the large zip ties here. And this is how I fasten it to the top. Let's go right around it. Just like that. Right underneath that flange. Just like that. And tighten as tight as you can get. Alright, now it can't come off. Now what you created is basically a wick. Then you fill that with the pot and soil. So, alright. So I don't know if these scissors will cut this or not. If not, I'll have to get some cutters. No, I'm going to have to get some cutters for that. Let me grab the cutters and I'll be right back. Alright, got me some cutters and I'm just going to cut the excess of the zip tie. If these things will work here, we'll be good. Alright. Now this you'll go right directly into the bottom of here. And this right here you can take in and out if you ever have to replace the sockets. The reason I make them this way. And that goes right in there, just like that. If you want to come over and help me hold this up, we'll show them what the inside of it looks like. Just don't hurt that inside of it yet. Alright. That's what the inside of it looks like right there. I don't know if you can see it, but right there's the wick we made, the sock on it. And you'll put potting mix right down in that. Right there. Alright, and then set that down. Thank you. Alright. But like I said, you fill this up with potting mix, which we have here. This comes from Royal King. It's, I guess it's like their brand, the cheap stuff. It's $2.99 a bag, and it works really well for this type of stuff. It's the Evergreen brand. I think, I don't know if I mentioned that or not. Basically, what you do, you just open it up. I'll put one bag in it before we take it up. And you basically just dump it in, down in that sock, right down in the sock. Well, I mean, you're going to fill the whole thing with it, but you want to make sure you get that sock good and full, and then pack it in there, just like that. There you go. Alright, I'm going to dump the rest of it in there. Shoo. Just like that. Make sure that's packed in there good. And this thing wicks the water right up into the soil. Just like that. We'll probably put one more bag in it, but we're not going to do it right here because it'd be heavy to carry up to there. So, then finish screwing this down, and then we can paint it after we get it off the porch. Then when you put your water in, put one more bag in there and you'll bring it up close to the top if you want, all the way to the top, whatever. You take your water hose or buckets or whatever, fill it up, screw this right on. Just like that. And there you have it. A self-wicking tub. Perfect for porches, patios. I mean, limitless what you can do with these things. Anywhere you ain't got enough room for a garden or anything like that, it's perfect for that. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you that this mix that we get from Royal King stinks. So it smells like sharp. But anyway, the next step will be, if you want to, is to paint it, paint the outside of it. If you want, you don't have to. A lot of the stuff that I've done, you don't have to do. It's just the way that I do it. And as I said before, well, you can see right here the median where it starts here. So you have a reservoir from here down of water. You could have made that shorter if you don't want that much of a reservoir. You could bring it down more. But I find that works out really good. And, well, it does for us. It does for us. But anyway, this is our version of a wicking tub made out of a 55-gallon drum. And it works very well. It works very well for us and everything we've ever done with it. We'll try to find some pictures of the ones that we actually have stuff growing in right now, and we'll show you what they look like, painted and all that stuff. After I paint this one, I might put a picture in the description of it painted or something like that. But I'm not so sure I'll paint it. Just leave it like that. Maybe because it's going in the greenhouse. So I mean, we'll see. Either way. Alrighty, guys. Thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, subscribe to our channel, like the video, share it, whatever you need to do. We'll be coming out with another video soon. See you guys.